Hi guys, Rachel with Spunky Misfit Girl here, and continuing on the theme of making some ephemera to go into the masquerade journal, we are going to make a tag with a gatefold and a pocket. And I didn't do a sample ahead of time because I just want to make one of these for the masquerade journal, and we're gonna just figure it out on camera and see how it goes. And hopefully it will turn out to be a project that you can follow and nicely create yourself. This is inspired by Cara Renee over at Be Reborn Arts and Healing, and I love watching her. And she's always got a great, I don't know, she's just very real. Let's put it that way. She's got great energy, but it's real. So go check her out if you haven't seen her, and let's dive in and do some work on this. So what I have here is meant to be the base of my tag. So I've got this pretty masquerade lady from my papers, and she is about 4.5 by 8. She's actually just a little under, but that's okay. So she is going to be the base of my tag. And what I decided to do was actually use a repeat for my gatefold so that it'll be the same picture. You'll have the whole picture, and then the gatefold will open it up, and it'll be kind of neat and hidden. And maybe we'll put some kind of writing spot or something underneath there. So what I've done is put together, and then we're gonna need a third piece that's gonna go on the back to make the pocket, which we're gonna do on the side. Okay, so for this, I'm just gonna kind of figure out, and this really will depend a lot on your paper in terms of how you want to do this. But so I've cut this. This is a little bit wider, so it's probably got 1/4 to 1/2 inch on each side, which you want to leave. It's probably nicest to do a full 1/2 inch, so you'd want your gatefold piece to be 1 inch wider. But I want to just do, I don't know if I am, yeah, I guess I am on the same spot in terms of the paper, where my paper is. I think I might be a little bit lower here. So I want to capture the right section of this so that my gatefold will line up, right? So I'm going to just, and you probably don't need to worry about this if you're doing something that's not patterned and such. I just decided to make it harder on myself, of course. So I'm just gonna mark this kinda, so I have some room on the bottom, and I want it to go about here. So I'm gonna cut that guy out just so that I have a rectangle, and just kind of figure this out. You need a challenge sometimes, right? Something a little different. So I'm expecting then for this to kind of come and go right like this. So it is a little shifted over, so my tabs will be different sizes, but that's okay. So I think what we're gonna do, actually, I'm shifted over here. That's weird. When I line up her finger, she doesn't line up over here, but when I line up over here, then her finger shifts too much. So I'm not exactly right on here, but that's okay. I'm gonna line up the finger because that's the bigger part, and that's the middle. So I'm gonna kind of put that there, and I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap my sides here around and actually give them a nice crease so that I have my spot where my gatefold is meant to go exactly. So very good. I am liking that. Okay. So let us then, we know how that fits. So we're gonna look at where our center is now. We will take this off of here because that's just going to confuse me. So we're looking 4.5. So that's gonna be 2 1/4. It's gonna be our center. Right. So 2 1/4 is about here. And then we're gonna cut that guy right down the middle. You know what we're gonna do first though, because I did not think about this. This is actually gonna flip open. So I am going to, this paper is such a nice blue, but I don't have a dauber for it. We could just make it brown. I was thinking of doing some stenciling, some inking on the back. But what we alternately could do also, which would be very easy, I think I have some. Yeah, I'm just gonna cover it. I'll go ahead and cover that guy. And actually, I think I do want to cut it. So for your gatefold piece, you might want double-sided with something light on the back. I don't know that anyone really actually is gonna write on the inside of a gatefold, but this way, if they want to, they could. So I'm gonna just go ahead with that guy in there before I cut him. Make it a little easier on me. We'll cut the top and bottom off. I am getting very close to being done with this masquerade journal. And then I'm gonna have to figure out a cover, actually. I hadn't even really thought about the cover. I've done masquerade journals in the past, and I created a visual that I used for both of those covers, and I think I may reuse that because it is very nice looking, if I do say so myself. I just have to check how it looks with the papers that I've got on the cover. Okay, so that's our gatefold, and we are gonna go ahead and put this guy on here. I'm gonna erase the last of my marks here. So this guy is gonna go just like this. Whoop. Maybe that's a little too high. Nope, that's about right. Okay, so we've got a little space down here. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, so I'm gonna hold it there where it goes. And actually, I think I'm gonna punch my holes. I'm gonna do eyelets so that we can put a nice piece of ribbon on this. So I think we'll do that first. And you can, I think what Cara Renee did was do these together, but I think I feel a little bit better about kind of looking and marking. I say as I put it somewhere I don't like it. You can also, you know, measure these if you want to make sure you get them absolutely right. I think that looks pretty good though. It's maybe a little higher than center, but I think that's okay. I kind of like it. So we're gonna run with it. So I have to decide, are we gonna use big? I think we're gonna use big eyelets on this one because I wanna use some big, kind of showy ribbon because of the masquerade theme. Yeah, I had this one. I was thinking I would use this guy, and I think that'll look really, really nice with that blue and the masquerade look. So let's give it our big hole. And then we'll get some eyelets in there. And we'll give these their little grommets too. Somehow these guys have been fitting into my holes pretty easily. All of a sudden, they used to always give me trouble. I lost my grommet though. They used to always give me trouble. And now they've been so nice. Let's see. I don't know if that's gonna, because it's definitely squashed. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. We'll leave it without for now. We'll see if we can get this one to work. They do have a tendency to fall out, but I can't get them to stay. Maybe that's the better way to go about it, is to hold it like that. If I can hold it. My crocodile seems to have lost me some space here too. That's part of my issue. There we go. I mean, it's not as wide here as it was at first, but there we go. It's on there, grommet and everything. Now it's gonna look different from the other one, but that's okay. We'll live with it. Now, let's give ourselves some ink. I do want to ink this up. I think that blue would have been nice on this one, but the whole rest of the journal is in brown, so we will match it up with brown on here. As well. Okay, so this guy goes here and this guy goes here. And that is gonna be super fun. Okay, awesome. We have got everything on here. We can just glue. And I don't want anything to move, so I'm gonna hold it all together, flip it over like that, And actually, I think I'm gonna do one at a time because I do want to get this on in the right spot. And that's gonna be a little tricky, especially with those eyelets already in there. It wants to move on me. So let's just do one at a time here. This guy on this side, and then this one right next to him. Perfect. Oh, this is gonna be cool. It's always a little nerve-wracking when you don't make a sample and you're kind of figuring it out on the fly, but I think this is gonna turn out beautiful. I am gonna have to figure out something to go in the pocket I'm gonna make though too. All right, that's perfect. That's awesome. And then, oh, I'm still blink. That white bit is gonna show. That's okay, I'm gonna live with it. I will probably ink it up once my glue dries, although with the glue on it, it generally doesn't take the ink very well. So make your gatefold double-sided. Just, that's the thing for you. That's the lesson. Okay, and so then I think inside of here, I was gonna do something that could be a writing spot. Because it doesn't really have a bottom, this gatefold, right? So it's not gonna be able to take a tag very easily. It could, we could do something that slides in there, but it's gonna have a tendency probably to fall out really easily. And I have a lot of this, and this is pretty, oh, actually I have a back side of this too. Let's do a little something like that, because then that is a clear writing spot. And here's the thing though, I wanna rip this. I wanna give it a look. I want it to look like something. So let's do that there. And then we're gonna go in here and do it on this end too. It's always a little harder when it's a little bit shorter like that. So now we really just want, well, let's do this first. This way. Okay. There we go. Yes, yes. And then just this side can just come. I don't need to do this in here anymore. Let's give that a little space off to the side so we can get our ripping done. And this, this ruler I just got off of Amazon. It just gives me a nice edge to work from. It actually has two different edges. I tend not to use the other one, mostly only this little smoother one. The other one's just a little too jagged for me, but I think there are other options that might have even more different kinds of edges that you can get just as nice. It gives me a look. For that will go in there. And let's see, actually, it does stick out a little. Do I want to change that, or do I want to let it, I kind of want to let it peek. I think I'm going to leave it like that and let it peek. It gives you a hint that there's something back there, but we don't know what. We have to open it up to find out what. Right? It's just a little peeky on the bottom there. Okay, I like that. Let's give it its ribbon so we can see how that look, what that look is like. And then we'll make our pocket for the top. How do I want to do this? I think we'll just go for a bow. We'll just go through and just do a bow, a nice big splashy bow. My grommets still really didn't squish. Okay, that is fun. Let's make this longer than we think it needs to be so that we can definitely make a nice splashy bow like that. I think that will be good. And then if we have to cut it off, we can, right? Of course. Okay, so I'm gonna do a knot. Oh, I'm loving this. Okay. Big splashy bow. See, I actually probably could have gone even longer on that for the look I was going for, but I didn't. So, always go longer than you think. But I love that. I really like how that, it just has a party feel, right? Feels like a party. It feels like this could be really cool way to do a party invitation or your wedding invitations. Okay, so for this, we're gonna take this other part of one of these sheets of paper and I'm gonna cut it to the size of my tag, which is not really a tag yet because we have not made it into one. So we're gonna put the back on first so that we can do it together, the front and the back. So let's cut this guy down to his proper size. And that's gonna go on the back to cover up that white and those gatefold tabs. And then we're gonna make a pocket on this side over here, okay? And actually, I'm debating what size to make that pocket. So you can kind of decide. It could be the whole length of this guy, or we could just make it like the size of the gatefold, right? So the gatefold comes to here. I think that's what I'm gonna do because I kind of like that. Comes to here. So we're going to then just do glue on the bottom and glue up to here. And that will give us our pocket in there, right? And then we'll go ahead and just glue the whole top nice and solid. I think I like that better than trying to do the whole length of this thing, because I'm just gonna do a kind of a shorter like card style thing on that side there. Just want to make sure that I'm getting my front and back aligned properly. I don't have any white showing where it shouldn't. Not that there is ever anywhere that white should show, right? Except for on our inside where our gatefold folds, where I didn't print the back of my paper. Okay, I'm loving this. This is great. So now we have this awesome little pocket, sort of secret pocket here, and I did not make a plan for what to put into this, and I should have. So I apologize for that, because these papers have such varying colors. So I've got this is very blue, and I've got a lot of reds and things that go with this, but I've also got these, maybe this guy. I want to make something that's going to kind of slide right in there. I think this could work. And I want to back it onto something that's a little more sturdy. I have quite a few scraps in here. I've just been keeping a folder of this, the Masquerades related bits that I have. I've got this guy, which is a cardstock. Ooh, I actually have a tag. You could do something like that. That's kind of fun. But I would want it to be wider. I kind of want a card. I kind of want a square or rectangle here for this guy. So let's see. And yes, this is what I was thinking of. This is a nice blank back. It's cardstock and it's not backed. So we can, let's make a size. Excuse me, sorry, I'm losing my, all this enthusiasm is eating up my voice. So we've got it, it's about, yeah, it's just, it goes all the way to the bottom. Okay, so we can make this the size of our gatefold. Let's do that. We'll make that the same size as our gatefold and just a little shorter. I totally lost that mark. This paper is very busy. So just shorter than our paper so that it will definitely fit. And I want to put a tab on the top that will just peek out of this tag, and I think that's going to be so great. Okay, so we have our little square, purple and blue, and I'm going to back it onto this guy to give it that extra weight. I love it when projects I am experimenting on turn out properly. And I think this one is. I think you won't have any trouble following along and making this guy. And you won't really need measurements because you can just figure it out based on what you make as you go, right? And that way you can use papers, you can use whatever papers you want and make it work based on the papers, which I like to sometimes do, right? Okay, so the next thing we need to do is make sure that this fits in our pocket, just in case we need to cut it down before we decorate it. I also need it to be glued. I don't want it to be fussy. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it just a little bit off the top because it's a little bit tight. So that should give us what we need. This guy's gonna go in here. Ooh, ooh. And he does fit very nicely. So awesome. Do we want, I've got this little tab. I wish I had, I think I have some lighter ones actually. Look at this. I have some lighter ones. I think that will go better with this. I could actually paint it a different color too, but there's a lot of browns in this. So I think we're gonna do it like that. And then what do we wanna do to this card? Nothing yet. First, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our tag shape at the top so that you guys can get on with making your project if you want. If you don't wanna stick around for the fuss of decorating, I think I'm just gonna do some stuff to the card. I'm not gonna really do anything else on top of the tag because I just want my pretty lady in her mask to be the focus. Is that not really centered? There. Yeah? Or a little more. I can't tell. Okay, I think that's good enough. So that's gonna go right in here, and it's gonna get some, I think I do have some fussy cuts that will work with the blue a little more. Not the teeny tiny ones. This guy maybe, or I thought I had a bigger mask, or I've also got this guy. That could be really fun. I think we'll do something with that. That's nice. That's a nice one. Okay. Anyway, we'll do that in a minute. We'll stick this guy in here. And I'm gonna ink up those edges too, but then that just hints that there's something there, right? Awesome. And now I've got to make my tag shape, which I will admit I'm not great at when I'm creating it from nothing. I have this little clipper guy, which doesn't really, for a big tag like this, I don't know. It's not really deep enough. But possibly what it can do is it can give me the angle. And if I can cut along this angle, if I have my scissors, I've already been eaten by maybe cutting directly along the angle will give it to me a little bit better. Yeah? And then we can come over here and do the same on this side so we're even. And I think, actually, I'm gonna make this easier on myself and make a line. Lock it. Yeah? And there we go. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And let's ink that up. Her big head sticking out up above that. I wouldn't mind. I think I do. It's a little plain just all by itself. I think I'm going to see if I can find a little label. Maybe one of these guys that will go with like maybe a bit of muslin would work for me there. I have some that might actually turn out to be perfect. I might want to make it a little smaller. I was thinking maybe a label too, but I think this will be enough. More than enough. Just to make it a little more something. Yeah? Okay. Okay, I love it. Okay, I love it. Muslin goes on like that. And then our little label guy goes on like that. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. And then the last thing to do, so then actually we do want to also put, I do want to make it a tag, an actual tag. So let's put a nice big hole. I do kind of want to get this. that's the 3. Okay, so we're gonna go over to that side just by a little bit. I was pretty close. I get pretty close with just my eyeballs. Okay, so that guy's gonna go there. And then I think we'll put another big floofy bit of ribbon on the top that matches that big guy and one of these big guys. I do have to stick my pencil in there or they don't go. Gotten a little spoiled with how easily they've been working for me lately. To just break that paper up a little bit. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead without the grommet again, I think. Because I don't want to make a fuss. All right, and then a little bit of this guy, maybe like so. That's probably gonna be too much. For tops of tags, we like to keep it a little smaller. So I gotta get this guy through my hole. Come on, we can do this. Okay, and then through my loop. Ooh, so close. Awesome. And I kind of want those to actually stand up a little better, so I do think I'm gonna make them a little short. And the last thing left to do is to, there we go. Isn't that nice? The last thing left to do is to decorate the card, which I think I'll just go ahead and do off camera. And then I'm gonna stick this guy into my masquerade journal and future videos to come to finish it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was really fun. I had a great time figuring it out on camera with you. I hope you will enjoy making your own. Don't forget to hit like on the video. It really helps my channel grow. And subscribe to the channel as well. And I will see you in the next video.